Hey everyone, it's Twisty Fox. So last week, the WCA announced that the decision to remove Clock is going forward. Clock is actually going to be removed after Worlds in 2027. Now, as someone who loves Clock, you can see the t-shirt, I am very upset by this, of course. But I think it's come to a point where the WCA has made up their mind and we need to either decide if we're going to keep going to WCA comps or do something else. Now, I'm not saying that I'm never going to show up to a WCA comp again, but I want to keep doing Clock. I want to find ways to do Clock where it's recognized, and so I'm going to be looking for other options. Now, I do not have the skill set to create a new organization from scratch to manage all the different things there. Huge respect to everyone who can do that. That's not my skill set. I did it to a micro degree when I was a vice president at Virginia Tech's Cubing Club, and it was pretty fun at that small level, but even then, it was getting to be a bit much for me. So that's not where my skills come in. But I do have an idea, and I think this idea could make things interesting. Let me explain. So, the way keeping competitions work right now is the WCA is pretty much the only organization, at least in the US, that matters. Right? Like, you could have some other funny organization, but no one will care at all. There is Cubing China, and there's Russia's Speed Cubing Federation, and those are somewhat recognized, but people don't really count those results to be on the same tier. And that's what's given the WCA the power to be able to remove Clock. It's not just like one of many organizations made a change, it's the cubing organization has removed an event that people care about. So I have a little graphic over here that I crudely drew out. Forgive my background, but this is what I have. So there's three different columns, and all the results go to WCA.org. WCA tomorrow could decide that they want to like literally delete all of Clock results. And what are we going to do about it? There's literally nothing we can do about it. Here's where my idea is. What if there was some other organization? It didn't necessarily organize competitions. That's the people who run this organization. All they do is aggregate different results from organizations. So here I have the WCA, Russia's Speedkeeping Federation, Keeping China, and all these results are fed into this organization. Then this organization can keep track of all the results that are official. Like these organizations are pretty legit. They follow pretty standard rules. For example, there might be some differences. Like if Russian Speedkeeping Federation wanted to add 2x2 with speed, random example, that would still be close enough to the other events, right? Like that's something that I think they can have the choice to add if they want to add, and this organization will still follow with it. If they want to add Team Blind, that's probably game for this. If they want to change the section to be 3 seconds instead of 15, they probably couldn't be verified. But the idea is you have these verified organizations that count towards official results. Another idea that I have for this is you've got these organizations, but you could also create unofficial organizations that literally anyone could create. So, for example, my college club, we actually have a club website where we keep track of our different results. We probably don't have the rigor to become official. I think there's a few things that if we changed, we could be, such as I think sometimes we'd be a little lax on penalties and things like that. Sometimes missed scrambles. So not quite there. Maybe we could get there, maybe not. But the idea is, as a Cube Club, we could create an account, register for this organization, and then if you choose to see stall from Virginia Tech Cube Club in this website, then those results are shown alongside other results, if that makes sense. So the idea is you have a list of approved organizations that account for real records, and then if the club members want to see how they actually rank, if that was at a other competition or something, then this can be on it. So that's the idea at a high level, and I've actually vibe coded a demo of it that I want to go ahead and show you all. Okay, so wait, let me first show you all some other stuff. So this is the Cubing Club website that we made. If we go to rankings, give it a second, you can see some different rankings we have here. So these are some different people doing 3x3. And obviously WCA has the results that we all know over here. This is the vibe code demo. Now, I'm gonna be clear, there are a lot of mistakes in this demo. There's a lot of things are bad. This is not a working product. This is just like imagine this database was working right. That's all this is. So the first mistake you can see here is that it thinks that times that start with a 1 are better than 2. It's probably doing like a string comparison rather than a time comparison. Just whatever. So it thinks 1s are better than 2s. But as you can see, it's pulling the results of this article 1, and it's saying those are better than 2, or which has 2 seconds to solve. Which is pretty cool. And it's basically aggregating these results. So if we remove VT cubing here, gets rid of those. Remove WCA. For some reason, it's just one competitor. I don't know why. That might be fake data. I don't know. And then we can just put in VT cubing. And again, it has a minute thing messed up. But otherwise, the results are in order. And that's the big idea. There's also a competitor page. Let's see. There's someone. How does it work? Let's click on. I think like Michael will have a pretty good profile. Yeah, let's go to Michael's profile. And it's not loading. Oh, there it is. So there is all of his results. Now, I think in theory, what it's supposed to do. Oh, yeah, here it is. Yeah. So it has his WCA results next to his club results. So he has a top 1 real comps, has a club comps, he only has a 1.08. And the idea is, I mean, you could see something else that was just something that AI came up with. I think it's a pretty cool idea. But the big idea is that you have something that can aggregate these tops. And this took a couple of different prompts. I want to say probably 4 different tries, and they weren't well-written prompts. And I'm not saying that, I want to vibe code this and ship that out as the product. My point is that this is something that's not incredibly difficult to do. The WCA website is open sourcing the database. I think I'm using someone else's unofficial API for this right now. But you could do this. Like what I'm showing right here is like this is possible to do. It's not incredibly difficult. I have a working demo of what it would be like, working to some degree. And the idea is we take this, we're taking something better that incorporates these same ideas, and take a bunch of different solves, put them in your different organizations, and boom. So the main goal with this would obviously be to let people have the freedom to experiment with creating a different organization that could compete to the WCA. That would be the main goal. And if we can put the trust in this single organization, then I think that lets a lot of different organizations grow. For example, let's say WCA decides they ever want to remove blind events. Well, then someone else could make a blind-only organization, and then their process gets audited by whoever runs this organization, make sure everything's good, above deck, cool, and then their results get put in here. Someone else loves different sized pyraminxes. They love the master pyraminx, whatever. Or heck, they even love mega minxes and giga minxes and teraminxes. So they create their organization. Everything gets verified for them. I think you get the idea. That's what this would promise. So it's just a thought that I had, just a fun little demo I had, but I thought I wanted to share it with y'all, see what everyone thinks. So I'm also gonna probably put a Google form in the description if anyone is actually interested in this idea and would actually want to help out. This is no commitment, but if you fill that form out, it is kind of I expect that you would actually be interested. Not that you think this is cool, but you would actually be interested in helping. So feel free to fill that out if you want to. If not, no worries. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.